Hello, I'm your host John Joe and welcome to Line War. This is a very familiar map that we've seen because we've watched this game against both these players before. This is a rematch on the same map. We have SuperCrumpets in red, starting pretty much where Basantos did, and Basantos starting where SuperCrumpets did. So this is going to be very interesting. Now Basantos can see SuperCrumpets, and SuperCrumpets is taking a very different strategy to what Basantos did in the previous game, which is interesting because SuperCrumpets actually won the previous game, and Basantos is the developer, one of the developers of the game. So in the last game we had, Basantos started over here and expanded upwards, and tried to go around the map and expand mostly. SuperCrumpets looks as though he is definitely hyper offensive at this point in the game. He's built all of his production straight away, a lot of production, so 3 barracks, 2 artillery production, 2 factories. And he's got some units over here expanding through there, so he's crossed the water over here, like the same as before in the previous game, but in reverse. And we have Basantos on the run already a bit, but he has gone for an airfield, 3 barracks, and another barracks is being produced there. But he's definitely going to be trying to expand with this airport. He's got a transport jet already. This one's, and these ones, they're all producing commandos right now. It looks like they're doing sort of a split, so they're producing everything they can. So we've got infantry and commandos coming out one after the other. We've got a factory coming up now, so that's going to be helping to support the defense of this area. It looks like Basantos is going to struggle to keep control, and SuperCrumpets is going to just keep applying pressure. Have another barracks being placed down for that added pressure, but SuperCrumpets right now, because he's gone offensive and hasn't tried to expand particularly as a major goal, his eco is struggling already from the game. Got a lot of production, whereas Basantos, at least it's in the green. It's not great, but this is still only 3 minutes into the match. So we'll have to see who can hold their own in this. Right at the start we got a fair few engagements going around. Looks like Basantos definitely won that one. It was only against one. Over here, that when these guys join in, these guys won't last much longer either. And this little push here is actually going to stop the expanse of SuperCrumpets into this area. So he's losing territory from this. Or at least losing the territory he was trying to claim. Down over here though, SuperCrumpets is getting scouted by Basantos. With some units down there, they can probably see what's going on there. And maybe not, okay, I forget they're in the mountains in the forest, it's all going to be stealthed. So although it's right there, SuperCrumpets is still well hidden. For now. On Basantos' side of things, he is definitely focusing quite well on expanding. And that transport jet is off already. Where is he going to go? He's going this way. So he's going to try and take over this island first. And he'll probably go onto that island next. I think Basantos will have control over the majority of the map. Starting in the middle here, he'll have the 2 islands over this way. But SuperCrumpets will have the larger singular island over this way. There's no other islands apart from this one over here. And this little one over here as well. But that only depends on whether Basantos can keep control over this main island here. So we'll have to see what he does. He's got his units in formation. You can see he's got the lines going across. They're standing there ready to defend in this area. Are being pulled back for now. But I think he'll be alright. He's going to be able to push through on these guys. If this line was a bit shorter especially. He's pushing through with these guys on an orange command. And it looks like some of these units are getting tagged into that as well. We have a helicopter on the field now, but unfortunately Basantos doesn't have any energy production right now. Does he have any being built? No, he does not. I don't know, maybe he should have started with this island first because of the energy. But he might not need it in that time period, so he might be alright for now. We won't need to use that helicopter straight away. He's probably going to want to build up enough helicopters that they become a strong, dominant force before he wants to use them anyway. So I think he's going to be alright. Basantos is having to bring more units down this way, but he's doing it quite cleverly. He's bringing them around over the top through these territories that he still needs to grab. So although he's bringing them closer to the front line, he's also trying to claim these territories. But he's not forgetting about the ones up here, so I think he's doing that quite well. Over here we've got the artillery being set up, whereas I didn't see much from SuperCrumpets in artillery. It looks like he's building up the artillery, only sending the infantry out to see what Basantos has. On the main island over here, it looks like he's just leaving that to these initial units that will claim that. Doesn't need to try and go back to it, so that is the benefit he has of starting there. Basantos, on the other hand, has managed to get units on this island and on this island now, so he's pretty much going to claim all of these territories unchallenged for a while, but it will take him a little bit of time to try and get all those territories on those islands. Now that Basantos has enough units, he's starting to push through the forest. As his units get closer, their accumulated vision is starting to see through the south. And Basantos might be getting a bit concerned about these artillery. Luckily he can counter them, but is SuperCrumpets going to be building any SAM units? I don't think he is so far, so he might get caught off guard if he doesn't prepare for the worst. I'm sure he will eventually. But for now, it looks like SuperCrumpets might be able to come back. Basantos might be able to come back with their helicopters. I think that's going to be the plan for this. And we have an interceptor, so even Basantos is expecting air units at some point. But for now, it looks like they're both waiting for each other's next move. Building fortifications with his infantry. And I think what he's going to do is switch them out for the artillery like he's done over here. I'm not sure if he's just going to leave them there. He might do. And he's sending out the transport jets, so that's going to fly straight over the top here. And it's going to try and start taking out the original island SuperCrumpets once had. Or still has. I think, yeah, he's going to land here. SuperCrumpets will easily spot this, and he's gone for some eco. A bit of some cheeky eco there. Might have been safer to try and claim some of the territories here with some eco and build from that. Because over here it's a bit risky. Those helicopters could right now fly in and take that out. Obviously, SuperCrumpets doesn't know about them. He does know that he has air units now to deal with, so he probably will be switching into SAM units soon. Especially after seeing that. On the other hand, we have some formation setting up all the way across this forest and the little gap over here. We have an interceptor on the field, and I don't think that's going to do much, and that is also to stop... that will stop Crumpets thinking that anything weird's going on, because he sent one interceptor out. And that is going to be a pretty good scout on the base, because interceptors can see through stealth really well, which well, someone told me that recently, to be honest. I didn't know that until just about 2 days ago. I think it was Hacko that told me. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it was Hacko though. So both those aircraft flew straight over, mostly because they're out of energy. I assume he's got the energy well up here, and he will probably be building it soon. He doesn't quite... oh, he does own this territory. He could get it. Unless it's actually this territory. Pretty sure it's this one, so he could start building that. Otherwise, it doesn't look like Basantos has any artillery, any energy being produced. Or even being constructed. But now that SuperCrumpets spotted that jet going across here, is he going to deal with it? He has built production up here in the mountains, so I think that's what he's going to use to try and stop Basantos in that area. He's moving his artillery out into the main section. It looks like Basantos is having to deal with this right now, and that is a large group of artillery that Basantos has to worry about. And these helicopters would be a great counter to them, but unfortunately, there's just no energy to supply them. It unfortunately is taking Basantos too long to get this energy up and running. But when he does, these helicopters will be unchallenged. SuperCrumpets is building SAM units at this point, so right now would be the optimum time to send those helicopters, but he just can't. Which is unfortunate, but SuperCrumpets has a plan. He's sending out some units to scout out this top area here. Got them on the blue command, which is going to make them prioritize moving over attacking. They won't stop to attack. We can see that Basantos is sending in some units from the north towards SuperCrumpets. And SuperCrumpets is probably just going to try and slow him down, to be honest. But his production should be able to stop this before it becomes too much of a problem. Here we go, SuperCrumpets is getting his single unit to go up this way. And we'll start capturing some territories up here. That's going to be for an attack later on. So he's going to try and take a territory up there and build some structures on it, I would have thought. That would be his plan. From Basantos' point of view, he does have some territories down here. Doesn't have any production on it just yet. There we go, he's got his energy back up and running just now. So he's sending out his interceptor first. I think that's to scout out for any anti-air. And just to see the base once again, which is over here. I'm assuming because he's going across the coast, he's looking for any Navy units. His helicopters are coming right at the perfect spot here to take out some artillery. And SuperCrumpets is, well, a bit out of position. I don't see any SAM units. Are they even there? No, I saw him producing some, but I can't see where they are right now. There's one there. That's going to start firing at that interceptor, but it's not going to do enough damage right now. And it looks like this group of artillery is going to get hit with a concave force coming around here. Using this curved, not even the line, he's using circle commands to create this concave around the enemy. And the helicopters are going to come in to support this attack. These artillery, although they're quite a large blob of units, they are being hit with everything Basantos can hit them with. And Basantos is going to win this in the long run because the SAM units just aren't there to defend against the helicopters. So even if the artillery, which probably will take out the ground units, the helicopters do so much damage, they'll probably tear through it before it can actually be significant, at least in this section. Up here we can see some units moving in, which is going to be a bit harder for Basantos to actually deal with. And SuperCrumpets is getting his SAM units into position as quick as he can, but they don't really want to move fast enough to get there in time. And most of the ground units have been destroyed. There are a lot of infantry on the ground though, and they might be able to do a significant amount of damage to this. And the helicopters will be able to finish off these artillery here pretty quickly. But Basantos is in a lot of trouble right now. There's quite a lot of units, not just in his base, but expanding over here, taking out some of the territory, which is going to hit the eco of Basantos pretty hard. So let's have a look at the eco so far. They got 510 per minute for SuperCrumpets, and for Basantos have 750. So Basantos has a lot of eco right now. And he does have some eco structures on these islands. On this island up here. But down here it just looks like that Basantos really just wants to defend here. He's going to try and do anything he can to defend from these infantry that are rushing his base. And SuperCrumpets' lines are just pretty much everywhere, but the strike commands have taken priority. And he's trying to take out those factories before they can build any more artillery. And Basantos is struggling with energy once again. You saw the smoke coming from that transport jet. It means his energy is low, but he still has it, so he should be alright for a little while. And the SAM units coming in to protect these artillery, but to be honest, I think these helicopters, if they were to target it, they should be perfectly fine. Fortunately for Basantos, it looks like he is losing that island. And there isn't really much for him to fall back on. He has the territory for it. But I don't think he's going to be able to keep control over this island, especially if he loses this location, which is almost gone already. But he does have this area of the map as well. And if he can take that, he'll have all the islands around the main island. SuperCrumpets will only have one island left. And SuperCrumpets is building some eco structures over here, the town being built. So he might have forgotten that Basantos had that little island there. Actually, I think he may have just realised if he did, so I don't think that matters for too long anyway. The SuperCrumpets is really trying to take over the territory over here as well. He's got them all on flag commands. They are going to be taking over the territory pretty quick. But Basantos might be able to use this to his advantage and take the units out as they're spread out so much. He does have a large group of units here still, so SuperCrumpets hasn't won yet. As you can see by the length of the video anyway. There we go, you can see the helicopters rapidly taking out these artillery over here. Do hit pretty hard. There's artillery in the north as well, which are going to take out a lot of these infantry that are walking into that. So on the other side, Basantos is still trying to take over the territory of this original island, and seems to have pretty much lost most of the territory over here, and is having to fight that front too. But doesn't have any information on the other islands. So Basantos could still be running quite a heavy force up here, but SuperCrumpets just doesn't know yet. The Interceptor is on the move. I think it's just because he's got all air units on the commands here, so... and I think he's just trying to defend the airfield right now. That's his main focus, but he does have a group of structures up here which are trying to support this front line down here against the SuperCrumpets. But I think SuperCrumpets just has the production here. They can outpace Basantos right now, and with Basantos losing structures as he goes, it's going to be harder and harder for him to keep control over this main island. He has built fortifications, but I think that might be a little too late. They're still building them as they're being attacked, which is reducing their HP. However, the air units are pretty much paying their wages here. They're doing a lot of damage, and it's pretty much saving everything in this area right now. But unfortunately, soon there won't be that much to support here. And SuperCrumpets does seem to have focused a bit more on SAM units. We've got 2 more being produced, we've got some more coming in. Trying to build them up on the back lines here so that when they attack they're going to have a harder time to take out the SAM units. But these units have managed to take out the units over here. There's 1 artillery left in the way. These units are trying to rush down, but these guys are going straight for this airfield. Luckily, Basantos went with helicopters, and they don't require the airfield to be up and running. So they're not going to fly off randomly and blow up. That is the advantage of building helicopters as well. They are fairly independent. And also, SuperCrumpets can see the structures that have been built up here. He hasn't got any units up there right now. He just really wants to take out this section of the map. Particularly that airfield, which has a strike command on right now. Checking over here what's going on. We'll come back to that in a minute. Basantos is doing everything he can to try and stop this wave of units coming in towards him, and he's trying to increase his production. The factories being built right now on the front lines. I think Basantos is building up a fair amount of units. It's mostly because I think SuperCrumpets is leading him in, taking riskier moves because he feels like he has the advantage, which it could be true. Very easily to state that it is true. But because he's leading them in a thin line rather than spread out like he was before, they are coming in easier to kill for Basantos. Especially as Basantos has these defensive lines set up, which are not always great. But in this case, it does seem to have helped him with the extra fortification. I do think that was needed. Fortunately though, he has lost the airfield now, so he doesn't need to defend this area anymore. Anyway, Right, so let's have a look over on this side where Basantos does seem to also be trying to defend from the wave of random individual units coming in. He has set up, though, SuperCrumpets has set up these lines now so that they'll sort of store in numbers up here and then be able to send a bigger force later on. And this is all from one barracks on SuperCrumpets' side. From Basantos' side, we have a factory there as well as a barracks, so Basantos definitely has the advantage there. Over here, these fortifications are being overrun, but it is looking like it's harder for SuperCrumpets to get through there. In general, has managed to do it now. Up here, it looks like Basantos is going to try and reclaim some of his old territory. SuperCrumpets has lost the advantage he had, maybe? I mean, he's still got this force coming in through here, but the way Basantos has been defending, he's been making it extremely difficult for SuperCrumpets to actually kick him off of this island. And Basantos is fairly confident he's going to handle this. He's got eco structures to aid in the fact that he doesn't have as many territories anymore. But he does have 900 a minute eco right now, which is outpacing SuperCrumpets, so Basantos does have an eco advantage. All he has to do is really defend and hold out. The eco advantage should allow him to win the battle. But if SuperCrumpets can start doing a lot more damage down here, it looks like tanks being produced by Basantos, but I don't think he's going to actually get finished, so unfortunately we're just going to have 2 tanks, I think, come out. Wait and see. Yeah, that one's gone now. It looks like he switched that tank out just before it came through. Oh no, it's there. I didn't spot that there. But that tank did make it out. That will help on this front line here. He's got 2 tanks over there. So, Crumpets is still sending in a stream of units, which is less effective, but I think he's also trying to stop Basantos from building up his own units as well. But he did spot the units that are up here, and he is trying to build some sort of fortifications over there, help deal with that. But Basantos had a different plan in mind. He's going for the reinforcements that are moving in for this area to relieve these units to move in, I think. That is the plan he's got in mind. SuperCrumpets doesn't have to worry about the fortifications here in the end. Over on this side, it looks like SuperCrumpets built up a large enough force that he thought it could be enough strength to take out Basantos there, or at least test his defences. Which is a bit of a shame, because he is trying to get some units in behind the territories over here. But if Basantos manages to defeat these units, SuperCrumpets only has 1 production up in the mountains over there, and he will be able to start pushing back. I think in the long run, Basantos is going to take over that island. If SuperCrumpets doesn't spend some more money in that direction. Over here, these guys came in to stop the reinforcements, and they have slowed them down. These guys are moving forward now. And I certainly hope you can't hear what's going on outside. I don't know how good this microphone's filter is. But if you can, I apologise. Otherwise, these units are starting to behave around these guys over there, the artillery. Don't have too much there. I've just spotted some sand units get there. How did they get there? Did they just roam randomly through there? Or have they been dropped off? They're probably capturing territory across here and got there, I think, because I don't see any navy yards. And now, it looks like the force moved down here. Instead of these defences, SuperCrumpets is going to use these infantry to take the territories back away. And it's going to start applying the pressure eventually. No, he's pulling back. He's not going to be applying the pressure. He's pulling back to store up his units instead of streaming them in one by one. But in this situation right now, Santos has the eco advantage still, I assume. 759? versus 1,000. So yeah, Basantos has a very high eco advantage right now. So the longer they wait, the longer Basantos has to build up a larger force. And as production goes, we have 9, 10 structures there. One's still being built. And SuperCrumpets has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But also a rocket. So they're pretty much equally matched here. But I do think that rocket might annoy Basantos in a bit. Have to wait and see on where he uses that, but he'll definitely be focusing on this army. So as he brings up all these infantry, they are taking over the territory really fast. And was that the rocket? Yes, it was. The energy warning is usually a sign of the rocket. I'm going to guess that he's fired... I maybe would have fired it here. He's going for this area as the units are moving through this section. I'm guessing directly on this factory. Nope, a bit further in. Okay, he's trying to take out the production instead. I probably would have focused on an army somewhere. Let me know what you would have done there. I think getting rid of the units is usually the better option. But Basantos and SuperCrumpets are racing in production as well. And I think SuperCrumpets really needs to start taking over this section of the map. That's how he feels. So that he can then focus on this section down here. But it does look like Basantos was attacked, which I must have missed. From the infantry that was coming down this way, he must have managed to sneak in behind. Take out that factory. Which is unfortunate for Basantos, because now they are on equal footings here. With just one barracks. Luckily though, Basantos still has his artillery that were produced there while it was up and running. And now he's trying to set up a large concave round here with all the land units. The line over here just to force them to move in this way. And SuperCrumpets is just sending his units in as straight as they can go, really. And his artillery is really taking out these tanks. But these tanks are really tanky, surprisingly. The artillery, that's a lot of artillery there, firing all at one tank at that point. Still took quite a long time to get rid of them. Tanks are surprisingly defensive. And offensive at the same time with that. So SuperCrumpets is trying to build up his eco. This is pretty much his only one that he can do right now, because over here he's got the town there, but Basantos still has this one down here. He does have the town there though, so he has used that. But he doesn't have many options to increase his eco. And right now his eco is pretty much maxed out. And it's starting to go in the negatives, which is not good, especially when he wants to build this rocket over here to fire that once again. We've got a lot of units, quite well spread out at this point, but there are SuperCrumpets units down here that are trying to break through. And it looks like Basantos is losing ground once again. We have another structure going down there. We've got these units moving up here just to make sure they've caught everyone. And SuperCrumpets does seem to send some units up here, but then they stop momentum with the reinforcements. But it seems like that was more of a distraction, as the artillery was focused down here. Take out the production, which does seem to be working. SuperCrumpets right now. And despite the eco advantage that Basantos may have, which is really a lot, it's not working out in his favour as he keeps on losing the ground over on this island. But on this island, looks like Basantos is winning this fight. SuperCrumpets doesn't seem to have many units over there. Got a bit of a fortification there. He knows he's lost the island. He's just trying to defend what he's got. And he's building an airfield over here to try and assist in the fight over this direction. SuperCrumpets has stopped the production of these structures. Balance out his eco right now. To help him switch into the air units that he really wants. I'm just curious, the energy well's over here, which is actually going to be a problem for him in a minute. Because we have transport boats being produced over here by Basantos, and a nuke. There we go, we got another nuke there coming in. And Basantos can easily fund this nuke, probably over and over again. And at this point, if I was SuperCrumpets, one of the biggest problems of having one of these silos is their upkeep. This thing is costing a lot of money in this game, just to have it on the battlefield, and you can't afford to start another rocket, so I would say to destroy that, self-destruct it to get your eco back. If you need another one later, I'd suggest building it later when you've got your eco sorted out, because they're costing money just in the long run. But over here, it looks like this town is about to go down. Probably very soon. And Basantos is getting ready to invade from SuperCrumpets' original location and move across into the back of his base over there. Up in this direction, though, it looks like it's going to be a bit of a base trade as Basantos takes over this island. SuperCrumpets is taking over the main island. Sorry about that, my daughter really needed the toilet, so I had to get up and let her through. Anyway, so there we go, we've got the units of Basantos being overrun in this section. He keeps setting up fortification lines as he is forced back and back. But he continues to build the production over there. He's trying to think ahead of time, and he's definitely going to have to deal with that army eventually. I wonder if he had built the nuke over on this side, that might have been a better option. And I'll be back in just a second. And I'm back again. So we've got the units over here which are slowly breaking through. But I do think the rocket would have been better on the other island. I know on this island he can reach the production over here. But it has been constructed, however the rocket won't start until he's got 500 in the bank. Which he could build up really fast. Just needs to stop spending the money, which I think he keeps on doing. That wasn't for the rocket, was it? Nope. But he keeps on trying to build it on production to defend this island. He's building the eco, actually, so he's trying to set up trade routes, I think. Yeah, I think he's going for trade routes now. But I think Basantos is basically trying to slow down the SuperCrumpets' advantage on this island. Just as long as he can, because he knows he's lost this island, I think. And what he's doing now is setting up some time so that he can then come back later on. Have a look from SuperCrumpets' point of view. So he knows he's lost this island. He's got quite a lot of units. And he's trying to spread out to see what he can grab. Over on this side of it, we do have the airfield there. He's going for these big bombers over here and some jets. Transport jets. And these units are going around the fortifications now instead of trying to plow through it. But she does have some artillery peering off and taking the range advantage that they have. He's going to send his units around the defences and just try and take a different approach. Making sure that Basantos doesn't get his units out to take the territory. SuperCrumpets is pretty confident on this as he's risking a lot of capital in the eco on this game. Including the town down here as well. Basantos has over 500, so that rocket must have been building from before when he had it. He's sending some units over now, and SuperCrumpets is going to have to react to this. Which might have been Basantos' plan, so he's lost the energy there, which must have warned SuperCrumpets. And now he's trying to bring the bombers in to try and help defend these structures down here. So if there are no anti-air there, which might end up actually being a problem. Because I don't think he was planning to build any air units. Or anti-air units, some SAM. But he might be doing it now. I wonder if he switched. Oh, he doesn't have a factory anymore either, so he can't switch. But yeah, as Basantos is moving his units this way, SuperCrumpets is going to have to bring his force back. Not all of them, but he's going to have to bring his produced units backwards a bit to defend, as he is now. And when they are there, Basantos can use his nuke to take out as much damage, or to give as much damage as possible. And the cruiser is even in range of those. Up here it looks like SuperCrumpets just gave up and is trying to attack the front lines anyway. It might have been just worthwhile sending the artillery in first and leaving the infantry behind for a bit. Just letting them get in as much damage as they can before Basantos reacts. SuperCrumpets has got his commandos over here. And he's going to try and take over this territory. And I don't know if Basantos has anything to defend with there. He has some commandos. He's spotted what's happening. He has some commandos in the area trying to move up and take out them before they become a problem. Which were the original ones that expanded over here in the first place. But he is reacting with some barracks. And SuperCrumpets still trying to proceed forward now. Mostly with just artillery. He does still have some infantry there. And he does seem to have stopped the infantry that were coming through there in the first place. Meanwhile, Basantos is using his transport boats to take out some territory here for himself. And it looks like that bomber is not going to be enough to defend that location right now. Even though there is nothing to challenge it, the amount of artillery there are going to outweigh the damage from that bomber. Unfortunately for Basantos though, it does look like he's going to lose this island pretty fast now. SuperCrumpets pretty much has control over it. There's only 2 production left in Basantos, so it's just a matter of time at this point, which is something Basantos has because he still would have the eco advantage. But we'll see how it's changed now that Crumpets has that middle island. So Basantos has 1,400 per minute, which is double SuperCrumpets even with the middle island. And that's pretty much because of all the eco around and the time it took for Crumpets to take over this middle island. You gotta remember, they both started, the fight started right at the beginning of this section. And it's taken over half an hour. This is a late game match now. And all the eco is pretty much set up, apart from cities. Got the docks being built now, so the trade routes are the next on the list. And it looks like Basantos' navy fleet is going for the eco of SuperCrumpets, anything to take an advantage there. And SuperCrumpets is trying to send in some commandos down over to here to get the production there. That production is there for the invasion of these transport boats. They're going to start sending in units straight across over here, which might end up taking out some eco. And they're going to be protected by missile ships from there. We got another rocket. We got that rocket there, which is actually ready to fire, I think. Whenever Basantos wants, and I think SuperCrumpets knows about it. There we go. We've got units dropping in now. Even some SAM units on the ground. Yeah, the commandos are dropped in. They can see the missile silo. They're going to try and take that out straight away. I don't think they're going to be successful on that, but the bombers here, they might be able to target it too, which he's just switched in. But I think they're going to have to land before they can take that command. Unfortunately for SuperCrumpets, most of his units are way out of position. He's lost the town down here. But they don't want to be in position right now, because if they were, that rocket would definitely fire on him. There's that decision on whether you've got to bring in more units or just use the ones you've got here, as to not risk any more at the one time. SuperCrumpets is pretty much getting control over all the territories on this island now. He's building some navy units. It's his plan. He's going for a city in the middle now. That's what he's going to use to try and fix his eco. To be fair, he has done really well at stopping the eco, and the reason why he's got more money coming in is because he stopped production of the ground units on this island, which might end up being a bad thing, especially as he keeps getting invaded by Basantos from these boats. The commandos are going to try and take out the cruiser before the cruiser can take out this missile silo. The rocket's coming in. Probably to take out some of these production structures, which at this point is not that useful. SuperCrumpets doesn't need as many of these structures as it is. Definitely, if Basantos knew where that airfield was, would have been a good idea, but he just can't see it through the south. Yeah, we've got another rocket being built already, so Basantos is already trying to produce that other rocket. Over on this side, we still have some units being produced. They're protecting the energy. It looks like we've got a town being built over here. Thought that was going to be a city then, but I realised he probably didn't have one before. It's too small to be one. And SuperCrumpets has failed to take over this island, but there was a bit of a battle for it. And these units keep coming in, but they are going to get taken out straight away from the commandos that are blocking that path. This is now just trying to control everything around them. Their Navy fleet production, using the air units, trying to stop any extra support for each other, and both using different ways to try and increase their eco. But now we've got these artillery moving down. But you've got to remember that Basantos can not only just attack here, which is the main focus right now, but SuperCrumpets can't focus on just one side because Basantos owns that island and this island, and he could attack from any location at any point. The SuperCrumpets just doesn't know what's there. Trying a different side now. He's going to try and send in some boats towards the city, and he's going to try and take out the city, which is a very good idea because the city is quite a big investment. I think at 500 capital, it takes a long time to earn that capital back, get your return on the investment. And now Basantos has the town over here instead. He's taken out SuperCrumpets and decided he wants one there too. And it looks like he was trying to get something over here. We got a strike command that's been left. I can imagine that soon, we've got the boats here, I can imagine soon he's going to send in some units across the water. He's going to have some air units to back them up with in a bit. But right now they're both just sort of planning and preparing. And SuperCrumpets is trying to take out this one unit, trying to claim some territory here. And if it does claim territory, then Basantos will have some place to build some structures again. I might be able to start pushing back, but I just don't think it's going to be quick enough. Too many commandos in one area here, and the bombers are going to fly over and take out this navy yard. Definitely. They are going to take a lot of damage. There's quite a few SAM units in this area. That's going to be a problem for these bombers soon, and we'll thin their numbers eventually. Another interesting fact I didn't know before until recently with these bombers. Like most units, like the infantry, can shoot most jets, but those bombers, one of the advantages is they fly too high, and only SAM units and missile ships and interceptors and strikers can actually target them. Oh, and the helicopters. Basically anything with any actual anti-air use can target it, but nothing else. Which I thought was quite interesting. Basantos has his rocket ready once again, so he can just keep bombarding SuperCrumpets with these rockets till he gives up pretty much at this point. But I feel like SuperCrumpets has been hyper-offensive throughout most of this game. Right now he's been a bit defensive. Been fairly successful at defending, so I think he's doing pretty good. He was aware that we might get attacked down on this side. He has brought his artillery down this way, which was a really good response from him. But these riflemen over here are going to take out this undefended energy well, which may cause a problem for his air units. The rocket's coming in, and it's going to hit that airfield pretty much dead on. So now, SuperCrumpets still has 2 airfields over here, which I didn't spot, so he should be fine. This energy well is going to cause a bit of issues, as the energy is being used up quite a bit. But once that goes, that's just going to hinder his energy, not too much, but enough for now. I've just spotted this over here. We've got another rocket being built by SuperCrumpets. It does have an energy well up here, which should be able to keep him running for a bit. But he's going to need to defend this up here in the north. He plans to keep building structures over there. So there was another attempt from Basantos to attack from a different angle, taking in some units. He's going to try again over here. He's been sneaking units onto these mountains and forests, and as you know, they are stealthed when they're there. So SuperCrumpets probably hasn't noticed this while he's been attacking, or being attacked over here, so he's defending. Over there, he spotted these units moving in, and he's trying to take in whatever he can over there. There just isn't as much production. Even if he wanted to turn it back on, isn't a lot he can come back with. He's going to have to take a few hits and then try and push back in a bit. But those bombers might be able to help. He's got quite a few air production and air units already produced. However, it does look like SuperCrumpets is going to get some more units to deal with over here. Might be able to take out this rocket up there. Not that they can see anything being produced from it. And unfortunately for SuperCrumpets, it looks like Basantos does still have quite a few units to bring into this area. But Basantos is going to have to deal with some Navy units right now. It's just 2 cruisers at the minute. But they will stop those reinforcements coming into this area. And maybe even provide support on the ground. That boat was like, yeah, no. Gonna move away. And they've decided to run away from that. Basantos does have some units to defend with, but he would struggle in that fight there. He's only got 1 cruiser and missile ship there. But he is going to start building up some more offensive units for the team. And there's quite a few artillery here that can deal with those ships and make them heavily damaged. These bombers are being used in other locations as well, so it looks like SuperCrumpets has a lot to deal with. Not enough units to actually take them all out. And is struggling on energy now. You can see it's draining pretty fast. And once that drains, those air units are going to be fairly useless for a while. He is trying to fix his energy issue, and he is trying to fix the unit production issue as well. So I think both players are doing as best they can. The SuperCrumpets has 1,000 cash stored up right now, so we could easily try and do something different and come back. Basantos also has a lot of money stored up, and is turning this town into a city. He's going for the long game. And over here we have some units moving, some air units. We've got a lot of strikers moving in. Try and take out this energy once again. SuperCrumpets doesn't have much to defend it with, but this rocket is going to come straight down the top of this airfield as well. Taking out another one, heavily damaging this one over here. Just in case you were wondering, a rocket cannot destroy a city in one shot. You need 2 rockets, I believe, to take it out. So if you were wondering what would be the better option, definitely the airfield. Unless you can follow it up with another attack to take out that city. Over here though, SuperCrumpets is fed up of being on the defensive and is going straight into offensive onto these navy yards down here. It looks like Basantos is doing a very good job of putting pressure on SuperCrumpets in the center here, and going to be trying to push straight forward through this this airfield and potentially take out the city en route, but I think his main focus is the production of air units. Strikers are coming in from the other side to try and help with that, and it's also bringing in units this side too, which pretty much puts SuperCrumpets in a really bad situation right now. Despite the offense over here for the shipyards, the cruisers are really trying to target the shipyards right now, but are also being attacked as well from fairly damaged ships over there, I think, or unless that's just my eyesight playing up. But he's trying to do something over there, anything that he can to stop the attacks over here. But those strikers are going to be a big problem as he has no response for them. I think we have both players playing this map twice. Now Basantos is winning this game. I hope I got this right. Anyway, I'm pretty sure it was SuperCrumpets who won the previous game. And now Basantos has won. Pretty sure he's won it anyway. I'm going to cut the video now, or at least my audio, because noise. So thank you for watching. There will be 2 videos on screen very shortly, I'm sure. And feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.